Welcome to the Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy, and this is where characters gather. And Kalu was playing. So we're going to talk about what I managed to read last week. And I will just tell you up front, I didn't manage to read a lot. My brain was not in the mood to read, and so I read very little. So first we're going to talk about what I DNF'd. I actually DNF'd this one last week, the week before last. Should have mentioned it in my last video, but I forgot. That is Welcome to the School by the Sea by Jenny Colgan. This is the first in the School by the Sea series. I read well past 50 pages, 50 large print pages, no less, so a lot of text. I was bored. I didn't care about anybody. I didn't like the tone of the characters. I didn't like the content. It was just boring. I mean, boring. So, moved on. Yeah. And so, I then pulled up the next two are NetGalley arcs. One was on my NetGalley catch-up challenge list, and the other was on my Southern Charms readathon list. So first up, the NetGalley challenge. That would be The Lifeboat Sisters by Tilly Tennant. I read it on my Kindle. This is the first Tilly Tennant book that was an absolute fail for me. I read, I don't know what the percentage was, 25% plus. I was irritated with the characters. I was bored. It was just not a typical Tilly Tennant book for me. I didn't like anybody, and nobody was interesting, and my cutoff point happened when she took the Lord's name in vain. That was enough for me. You know, I already wasn't enjoying the book, and then that happened, and I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm done. So that's a Tilly Tennant pass for me. Next up, we have He Should Have Told the Bees by Amanda Cox. This was on my Southern Charms readathon list. Two was a NetGalley arc. It was Christian fiction. I read 30% plus of this book, and I stopped because I could not stand another moment of it. Throughout the book, I just kept saying to myself, suck it up, Buttercup. There's two main protagonists. They're both late 20s, early 30s, whiny, self-absorbed, stuck in their own heads, can't get out of their own past, just snowflakes who think, you know, they're the only ones who suffered past trauma and who are unique in the universe. And I didn't like them. I could care less. And this wasn't a long book. I mean, it's like less than 300 pages, I think. And it was just, I couldn't be bothered anymore. So I DNF'd it. I probably will never pick up another Amanda Cox book. It was that bad for me. So what did I read last week? I managed to read one whole book. One. And it was a NetGalley arc. It was on one of my readathons this month. I can't remember which one. I read it on my Kindle. That was A Match in the Making by Turano. It is Christian romance. I loved this book. I loved everything about this book. It was funny and sweet and just humorous, and you liked all the characters and you cared about what was happening to them, and they could get out of their own way, and you never wanted to go, hey, suck it up. There was character growth, and there was, you know, room for potential. I can't wait for the next book in the series. It was so good that I want to go pick up the rest of her back catalog, because it is the type of story I'm in the mood for. I'm very much a mood reader. It affects my enjoyment of a book, and I know this, and it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, but I'm in the mood for happier books that have characters that know themselves and have some self-confidence and believe they have some self-worth. So A Match in the Making is an easy 5-star. I cannot fathom not enjoying everything else she reads just based on that one book. That's how good it was for me. So what am I currently reading? Well, I have started Hounds of the Basket Stitch. This is getting me out of the nothing is working for me slump that the latter half of the week last week was for me. And I knew that book would do that for me, so it's doing what I expected. And then the next two I'm going to read are both library books. I've shown them previously. Pouncing on Murder by Laurie Cass. This is the third in the series, the Bookmobile Cat series. I love these books. These are quick, easy, fun reads. I have a lot of gardening chores to do this week, assuming the bugs stay off of me and stop biting me and making me miserable. So I can read this outside in between, pulling weeds and tying up tomatoes and peppers. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm going to read The Devil's Triangle by Catherine Coulter. This is the first in the Brit in the FBI series. I know I will love that book. I know it will be a enjoyable romantic suspense that I won't have any trouble with at all. So it's just a matter of sitting down and picking it up and making time for it. And then I have the rest of my pile of possibilities and other books from the readathons that I need to get through. And I need to continue to work on my NetGalley arc. So those are all what I'm going to read this week. It should be a better reading week, I hope. And it should be a better week gardening. Everything is nice and wet from the rain this weekend. We didn't get anywhere near the predicted amount, which I am thankful for. We got enough that the ground is saturated, but it's not overly saturated. So that is a good thing. What did you read last week? What are you looking forward to reading this week? Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and I will see you here next time at the Protagonist Pub.